Bill from Albuquerque asks, "Hey, mean counselor, I lose interest in new things only after a few days. Am I a Da Vinci person? If so, how do I fix that?" Oh, Bill from Albuquerque thinks he's a Da Vinci person because he loses interest in things after a few days. Stop the presses, everyone. We've got a real Renaissance man over here. Yeah, Bill, you're just like Leonardo da Vinci, except for the genius, the achievements, the discipline, and, the actual finishing things. But sure, keep telling yourself that losing interest in everything makes you some kind of gifted individual. It's not that you're lazy or easily bored, right? No, it's because you're just too creative for this world. Spare me. Step 1. Accept you're not a genius. First things first. Bill, you're not special. You're not some misunderstood genius who can't focus because the universe is beneath you. You're just someone who can't commit to anything because guess what? Real work isn't fun all the time. It gets boring, tedious, even hard. 3 things you clearly want nothing to do with. But instead of admitting that you're quitting because you're impatient, you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm just like Da Vinci. I have too many interests." No, Bill, you're not overwhelmed with interests. You're overwhelmed with laziness. Da Vinci painted masterpieces, invented stuff, and dissected cadavers for fun. You, meanwhile, bought a guitar, watched one YouTube tutorial, and then gave up when your fingers hurt. See the difference? Step 2. Stop romanticizing your inability to commit. You've turned quitting into a personality trait, Bill, like it's some cute little quirk that makes you deep and interesting. But you know what it really makes you? A guy who never finishes anything. You're not a Da Vinci, you're a dabbler. You start something, get bored the minute it stops being exciting, and then move on, pretending you're some tragic genius. Stop it. Da Vinci didn't bounce from hobby to hobby because he got bored. He mastered things. If you can't focus long enough to even learn the basics of something, that's not a sign of creativity. It's a sign that you need to grow up and realize that not everything is going to be fun and exciting 24/7. Step 3. Pick one thing and stick with it. Here's a radical idea. Stick with one thing. I know, crazy, right? But that's how people actually achieve things. If you want to get good at something, anything, you have to do it long enough to get past the part where it stops being fun. You can't just throw your hands up the second it feels like work. That's not genius. That's laziness with a fancy label slapped on it. I bet you're one of those people who dive into new hobbies like you've just discovered the meaning of life. You buy all the gear, tell everyone about your new passion, and then, by day 5, you're over it. Why? Because it turns out learning something actually takes time and effort. And you, Bill, have the attention span of a goldfish. If you don't stick with something long enough to suck at it and then get better, you'll always just be the guy who tried everything and mastered nothing. Step 4. Boredom isn't the enemy. It's the path. You know what your real problem is, Bill. You think boredom is a sign that you're on the wrong path. But here's the truth. Boredom is the path. Every new thing is exciting at first, but eventually it gets repetitive. That's when most people quit. That's where you quit. But that's also the moment when real growth starts. You're not Da Vinci, Bill. You're a guy who runs from boredom because you've convinced yourself that life should be a constant roller coaster of thrills. Guess what? It's not. Successful people know that getting good at something means pushing through the boredom. You want to master guitar. Guess what? That means hours of practice, sore fingers, and hitting the same notes over and over until you finally improve. But nah, you're probably more into the fantasy where you pick up the guitar and become a rock star overnight, right? So Bill, you're not a Da Vinci person. You're not some misunderstood genius floating above us regular folks, bored with the world's simplicity. You're just someone who bails the second things stop being fun. You want to fix this? Great. Stop running from boredom. Pick something, stick with it, and see it through. It's not glamorous, but it's the only way you'll ever actually master anything in your life.